This has Rangers fans salivating as a new report has revealed Chris Drury's plans to trade one defenseman for not only a familiar face, not only a fan favorite, but a real difference maker on the back end heading into next season. We're going to break down what this report entails and why this would quite literally change everything for the New York Rangers next season. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 74% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers, go down below, hit that free subscribe button, and this is the place to get all your daily New York Rangers news. So again, hit that subscribe button, get to stay up to date with everything going on with the Rangers. But let's dive right into it. There is a new report that is basically saying from the Anthony Russo of the Hockey Writers, this is from Anthony Russo of the Hockey Writers, who has boldly predicted that Chris Drury is going to reacquire another former Ranger, and that is Ryan McDonagh from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the package would include Carson Soucy and a draft pick. Now, at face value, when I first saw this, I said there is no world where Carson Soucy and a draft pick is going to get you Ryan McDonagh. But the Tampa Bay Lightning are in a bit of an interesting spot right now where I could see them maybe making this trade. Now, in terms of Carson Soucy, and we'll get into the specifics in terms of what Ryan McDonagh will bring to this team, because a lot of people are probably like, man, Ryan McDonagh's 35. Do we really want to trade for him again? It would change things for this team significantly, and we'll get to it in a second. But Carson Soucy, I'll tell you what. He scored a goal with the Rangers. He looked decent in some of the games that he played. Would not lose a minute of sleep over him not being a New York Ranger next season. So let's dive into it. As you can see here, you know, the player that might be, it could be Ryan McDonagh, who has 1 year left on his contract at $6.75 million. Now, if you move off of Chris Kreider, you would have enough money to acquire this contract or parts of this contract with some retained salary as well. So he has a full no trade clause, but it turns into a partial no trade in July, and he's played in New York before. I'm sure he would want to play in New York again, so why not? It could make a lot of sense. And at the bottom of the article here, you can say, we predict that Ryan McDonagh will be back in a Rangers uniform in exchange for Carson Soucy and a third-round pick. So, again, very interesting. Don't know how much insight there is, but again, this is Anthony Russo of the Hockey Writers. So they're, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think it could be a very interesting trade. If you look at, obviously, this is from Vince Mercogliano as well. In a new article, Vince Mercogliano said that he touched on the possibility of moving Carson Soucy, stating that Drury might need to accept a net loss on the acquisition in order to better facilitate more cap space. Now, there's a report saying that they're already looking at moving Carson Soucy. There's another report saying that they're looking at moving Carson Soucy for Ryan McDonagh. You might have to give up, obviously, a third-round pick. I would suspect even more, to be honest, because, yes, McDonagh's getting up there in age, 35, but, boy, the advanced analytics, everything suggests that he is still a good player. And, again, you can see here that selling low on any of these former first-round picks would be a tough look and draw warranted criticism, but the alternative may be accepting a net loss on someone like Carson Soucy. And, again, I don't know if going into next season you can bring Carson Soucy back. I mean, you might have to if you can't find a trade for him, but it's looking like a tough trade. That's all I'll say. Now, to look at the advanced analytics, this is from NYR Louis. Ryan McDonagh is so insanely good at hockey, even at 35 years old. I would piggyback Carson Soucy down to Tampa Bay, and you can see the advanced analytics with Ryan McDonagh following him all season in Tampa Bay. They're absolutely insane. For his age, what he was able to do, what he brings to the table, he is absolutely insane and quite literally still a game changer even at his age. And you can see what Tampa did this season in terms of regular season success, and most of it is obviously because of Victor Hedman and some of these other guys and Jake Gensel, and obviously Nikita Kucherov had an insane season, but Ryan McDonagh and what he does on the back end cannot be overstated. When you look at Carson Soucy, he's played some decent hockey over the last year as well, but you know, previous year to this year, he wasn't replacement level bad. He was a fine player. But NYR Louis goes on to say, I don't think it's actually crazy to say that Carson Soucy may be a decent player under Sullivan. So if you can get Ryan McDonagh for Carson Soucy, you make that trade 10 times out of 10 times. But if that doesn't work out, I do, you know, you hang on to Carson Soucy, right? Is probably what's going to happen. I don't know if it's the best choice, but probably what's going to happen. But again, this would be an insane trade. And I mean, a lot of people are saying, like, in what world, you know, do we Cap dump for Ryan McDonagh, again, the dude who carried our 5-on-5 defense, which significantly tanked in his absence for a second time. Like, do they even make that trade, the Tampa Bay Lightning? Like, that is insane to me. He is top 10 in NHL defensemen by on-ice offense contribution on March 30th. So, yes, a little while ago. It was about almost 2 months ago at this point. But nearing the end of the season, he was still top 10 in on-ice offense contribution in the NHL at 35 years old. He's still a great defenseman. He would be a great piece for this team. And Ryan McDonagh is plus 286 for his career and a plus 40 this season with the Tampa Bay Lightning at the ripe age of 35. Habs fans are saying that they probably should have went in on him. Trading McDonagh for Scott Gomez, obviously back in the day, to the New York Rangers. Terrible decision. But I think the Rangers have an opportunity here. If you can give up Carson Soucy in a third, I think you definitely do this. It makes the team older, it does, but it makes the team better immediately. So I would make this trade. And giving up Carson Soucy at the same time, it's not like he's a young, flourishing prospect or anything like that. Give up the third-round pick. Give up a guy that, yes, you did trade for and will have to take, you could look at it as a loss, but it wouldn't be if you're getting Ryan McDonagh. So that would be very interesting. Again, you could look at all the advanced analytics. At 35 years old, Ryan McDonagh is doing insane stuff. It's probably going to drop off, but his contract, like I said, is only for next season. It's only next year. So this could make some sense. And if things go south next season, you could trade him at the deadline, retain some salary, trade him at the deadline. But I don't think things are going to go south. You have a new coach in here, and I think a lot of guys are primed to have really good seasons next year. So if you take a look at what Carson Soucy did last year, not great. Most of the year with the Vancouver Canucks, only 13 points. You don't look at this guy to have some offensive output. He was a minus 11 last season. If you look at Ryan McDonagh, 82 games. He had 31 points. He was great defensively for the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. He was eating a lot of minutes at 20 minutes a night at 35 years old. Like, he was a big part of that team and what they did in the regular season this year. And you can see from Snark Messier here as well, watching the Lightning and Panthers, and I can't help but wish the Rangers never traded Ryan McDonagh. Well, imagine if he was back in a Rangers uniform next season. This guy is just consistently great. And, if you take a look at some other stuff, I mean, look at this. This is from April 26th. He's 25 years old. Look at these advanced analytics. He's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And sometimes he's known for his offense as well. He's great. Dare I say he's a decent two-way defenseman, right? Like, he's a good two-way defenseman. But look at the defensive rating. He's unbelievable what he could add to this team next season, especially on a pairing with maybe Will Borgen. Anyway, I think that it's an interesting thing that, if Tampa Bay were to make this move, I don't know if it's as easy as Carson Soucy and a second-round pick, or a third-round pick, I should say. I don't know if it's as easy as that, but if Tampa wants to make that move, you make that move tomorrow. You absolutely make that move tomorrow. So, again, that was brought up today by Anthony Russo of the Hockey Writers, and they're predicting that McDonagh will be back as a New York Ranger next season. A lot of people are probably rolling their eyes at all of this. Before I wrap up, I do want to say this. Man, he would make this team better next year. He absolutely would. He would have a significant impact on this team with some of the defensive pairings they have. Maybe you pair him with Schneider. I think him and Borgen, that would be very interesting. There's always a world where it doesn't work out, but I think that's an interesting pairing. So let me know in the comments what you think about possibly bringing back Ryan McDonagh. I mean, it's a prediction at this point. It's looking like they want to move off Carson Soucy. I think this would be absolutely insane. So let me know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.